Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the VGFightSchool channel. Today, I'm going to be talking about something that I feel like was a missed opportunity and kind of something that could be explored that wasn't. Now, this is the Batman Damian Wayne game that was rumored to be canceled, and even a lot of the pictures and some artwork leaked, and many people have said Warner Brothers probably leaked them themselves. Now, I think what was happening then was they were probably trying to use it to gauge fan excitement before they kind of scrap these projects, maybe. Or maybe with the changes that we saw in management and, for Warner Brothers Entertainment overall, that brought a lot of the movies that, basically in some cases flopped or in some cases didn't do well. I mean, you're looking at maybe Superman, which Man of Steel, I enjoyed that movie. It's one of my favorite movies. You're looking at Batman versus Superman, one of my favorite movies. Justice League was not necessarily my favorite, but if you've watched a lot of the documentary series surrounding why these movies were not super hits, I would recommend that you watch Midnight's Edge, their channel that actually looks into the movie industry. And their hypothesis has been basically that the management was not the greatest in actually having these movies come out in the best of state. But this Damian Wayne game, I felt like could have been a natural continuation of Batman Arkham Knight. And the reason I say that is because there was so much that Batman Arkham Knight left on the table that could be picked up as story pieces. Now, one of the reasons I'm making this video is because Slickmoth made a video saying what Arkham Knight could have been. And the theory and the thesis that he put forward was about Harley Quinn. I found that theory or hypothesis extremely insightful because I never got to think about it. Harley Quinn is a very strong, likable character in the video games. Note that I said in the video games, okay? And I think fans would have been in a very strong position, to actually accept the fact that she will be a very, good villain to play the next following role after Mr. J died. That seemed like a very fun, natural conclusion to everything. And I felt like it was just missed and they wanted to bring in other villains, and perhaps that may have worked, but Harley Quinn seemed like it would have been a stronger story. But then you move on and then you move to the Damian Wayne game that got canceled and think about what that story could have been, and you basically see that if Damian Wayne had come into the picture, they could have definitely found a way to have him really have a lot of struggles with his father. And if they really wanted to make things interesting, Azrael could have come in to be a contender to be the heir of the cowl, somebody who would inherit Batman's place. Now, what do I mean? We'd seen Azrael in Batman Arkham City. We also got to see him in Arkham Knight. If you had put Damian Wayne in a picture, they could have put Damian Wayne in a position where he had to fight for, the rightful heir's position, and also Azrael compete against him to see who would actually inherit the cowl himself, because Azrael basically came to Gotham to look for Batman. He's one of the best mirrors of Batman that I've actually ever seen. In fact, if you look at the control systems of Azrael in combat, you're going to see that on PC anyways, it will show you Azrael / Batman. Fights almost exactly like Batman, but has a kind of weird brute force to him, if you understand what I mean. And if you think about how close he is to Batman and how much he studied and learned Batman to be able to, see if Batman would choose him as the heir, I think he will be a fitting running mate against Damian Wayne. That would have really been interesting because now you have a potential adopted son and then you have a potential biological son trying to claim, some piece of being the keeper and the protector of Gotham City. I think this would have been a very deeper story if they had explored it in that direction, because as much as you would have had to develop a new character for Damian Wayne, I don't think it would have really been too difficult. I mean, if you think about it, he kind of fights in a weird Robin style because he had to play Robin based on our lore and our series for a while. He had to play the role of Robin, and so that would have been a natural fit for him or for the character design. Maybe have him play a Robin for the meantime while Azrael play as Azrael, and they're going on missions, and the story drives both of them to a point where they want to attain the same goal, but at the same time they have to kind of have a conflict with one another, even bring in a climax at the end where they actually have to go confront one another, and maybe Batman gets to step in or maybe Alfred gets to step in and, you know, the story takes a different turn. This would have been really interesting to see, because obviously Nightwing is not a contender to the, you know, to be the heir to the cowl. Obviously Tim is not a contender. Obviously Barbara is not a contender. These are all different separate entities that do help Batman in different scenarios. But who would be the contender, and, you know, who would be the rightful keeper of Gotham? I think that question needed to be answered before, you know, after Arkham Knight ended, because Batman was basically, his identity was revealed, and, you know, the the Nightfall Protocol, basically, for those of you who have not finished the game, about to spoil it for the whole thing for you, the Nightfall Protocol basically, you know, puts Batman in a place where it seems like he's already dead. But then at the end of the game, you get to see him basically terrorize villains again. So I think this would have been a very nice opportunity and a good setting for these two characters to come into the stage as well. Hey, if you really want to throw things out there, but I think it would be ridiculous, it would have had to be a thing where even the other members of the Bat family were there to kind of moderate against very hot-tempered Damian Wayne and, you know, quite skillful and kind of, in a sense, weird Azrael, you know, from the way they actually presented him. Somewhat cultic in a sense, because he was trained by an order. But I think it's also contingent, again, on the fact that at the end of the day, in Batman Arkham Knight, Azrael has the choice to befriend Batman or basically try to take him out. That could have also been a weird conundrum as well, if they had pursued that storyline, for Azrael to be in a position where he had to make, you know, tough choices, and perhaps maybe even concede to the rightful heir of the cowl in one sense, or maybe take the, you know, the cowl for himself at the end. So if you think about these storylines and you think about these possibilities and plot points that they could have used, I think the Damian Wayne game would have been very successful. The reason it was canceled is still quite shocking, because it was canceled, and then all these years they've been developing two other games that were still not even certain, you know, exactly what we're going to be seeing on August 24th. So hopefully they can come out of this mess, because I think if they had released that game and whatever other game they were working on, or even scheduled to have something on the table, at least 2 games in the past 5 years, I think that Warner Brothers games would have been much more profitable by now, and it wouldn't be in the situation where it is, where they're trying to kind of unload it. That's what they're trying to, that's basically what it sounds like. Like AT&T is trying to offload this arm of Warner Brothers, which is just, you know, ginormously unfair to the developers that have been working there, the artists and everything, because these IPs are some of the most valuable IPs in entertainment, hands down. And so I just look and say, wow, I don't know what happened in those scenarios, but it's really interesting to see how these plot points that had been laid on the table bare by Rocksteady were not picked up and basically, you know, well managed. And I guess we're going to see what happens in the coming, you know, game, if it's a Batman game. Hopefully it is a Batman game and the Bat family is going to be involved. Hopefully we're going to get to see some family drama play out to kind of keep things a little interesting, but at the same time nothing that really turns the fans off. Hopefully we don't have any family drama like The Last of Us 2. That was just it was just too much to handle. I think games about fan service, and whoever is going to be making a video game needs to ensure that they actually do serve the fans. Anyways, this is my thesis and my hypothesis, just kind of seeing a different side to this. This is one that I've actually been thinking about, because Azrael is one of my favorite characters in the entire Arkham Knight game. Anyways, let me hear your thoughts in the comment section. Do you think there's any other story plot or plot lines that could have made Arkham Knight or made a post Arkham Knight game? Let me hear what you think in the comment section. Hopefully we'll see in another video. Peace out.